Hello everyone, this is Bruce from Jingle Mining. The past week was a week going to be remembered. Many events crashed into the news list and affecting our judgments. The crypto coins all keep falling, related to the price of GPU falls. Also, the NB miner and NiceHash announced they are able to unlock 100% of hash rate of NVIDIA's LHR cards. But the price of LHR cards didn't rise since such progress has been made. Currently, we are at the crosswalk. Many of us didn't know what should we do now. Even the stablecoin UST collapsed, and Luna coin bonded with UST also makes the Luna coin go down to zero. Such black swan event must going to be remembered in the history book of crypto coins, and it's breaking our confidence towards those stable coins. Even the whole crypto coins market. Considering the length of the video, I will pass the story of how Luna collapsed, straight into the thoughts and the lesson I have learned. And most importantly, the question is, what should we do now? And what can we learn from this? Can we still trust in crypto coins? Terra is now in the progress of attempting to reconstitute itself, but the collapse of Terra completely crushed the crypto market. And Bitcoin dropped 20%, and most of other altcoins went down 50% or more over the course of single chaotic week. Tens of billions of dollars in paper wealth was vaporized. Untold numbers of retail investors lost their savings. Funds went under who bet big on Terra, and entrepreneurs who were building on the blockchain are now in search of a new home. It was a sadly foreseeable end to this saga. It seems for now the dust has settled, but two final questions remain. First, what could Terra have been done differently? And second, what will be the long-term consequences of Terra's failure? If the Terra's blockchain redemptions were paused and Terra negotiated a repayment plan for UST holders, then perhaps the blockchain could have survived and UST holders could have received some compensation for the holdings. But instead, they did nothing. Luna hyperinflated and lost all purchasing power, rendering the blockchain itself worthless. There is now talking of restarting of a new chain from the scratch and airdropping onto the previous UST holders prior to the background. But the cardinal theme behind all of Terra was ultimately Anchor. Anchor, by guaranteeing a perennial 20% APY during times of collapsing yields, effectively transformed itself into a Ponzi scheme. UST had almost no extraneous usage outside of Anchor deposits. This meant that the principal value proposition of Luna was as follows. You buy Luna to mint UST, you deposit it onto Anchor, you receive interest in the form of other UST, and Luna was the ticket of the game. And because UST never achieved its eventual goal, the board adoption as the dominant stablecoin, the game ended only way it possibly could. That leaves us the last question. What are the broader consequences of the failure of Terra? Most obviously, the Straght shared style algorithmic stablecoins like UST will no longer be taken seriously. The possibility of stablecoin death spiral has been known ever since the Basis white paper, the original algorithmic stablecoin. But Terra's failure has burned into crypto's collective memory. Every major algorithmic stablecoins has either already failed outright or massively declined in value in last week. We have run the experiment at the largest scale imaginable. The collapse of Terra is likely the death knell of the Straght shared stablecoin. The second consequence of Terra's failure is renewed vigor of regulation. It is likely that stablecoin and DeFi regulation will come swiftly, and it will be more punitive than ever before. The last time we saw such lurid public failure of a major crypto asset was the collapse of BitConnect in 2018, which was literally a Ponzi scheme, and its promoters has been indicted by the SEC. For failure of this magnitude, heads must roll. And we have already seen that Janet Yellen called for the regulation of stablecoins, as well as congressional hearings on the risk of DeFi. In the end, Terra's collapse is ultimately a story about hubris. and fully of growth at all costs. Taking risks and engaging in open innovation is at the heart of entrepreneurship and what DeFi is all about. But with the great freedom comes great responsibility. And when that responsibility is regarded, we all pay the cost. Everyone can learn something from this. When we invest in something, think through and do more investigation. That's all for this video. This is Bruce from Jingle Mining. See you in the next episode.